My name's Chris Price. I graduated from California State University, Long Beach in 2008. I was here from 2004 to 2008. I studied human development. I'm originally from Southern California. I'm from Simi Valley in Ventura County. And so I was at Long Beach for 4 really great years studying human development. I did not know what I was going to major in when I was a freshman. I was one of those people that changed their majors a lot of times. You know, I sort of explored all the different departments, but I settled down on human development and I really liked their program there. So I was really interested in people, and I wasn't sure how I could put that into best use. I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to work with people, and I knew that working in human development, you got to see people from all different types of cultures across the lifespan, and so I felt like it was a really good foray into that. When I was a freshman, I sort of had the idea in my mind that I'd like to incorporate study abroad into what I did, but I had just no idea how to do that. And so I went to the Education Abroad office and I sort of spoke with them a bit about things, but it just still seemed so beyond my reach, you know? Like I'd always sort of wanted to do it, but I didn't know how or anything like that. So I went there and I talked to them and they sort of helped put the pieces together. But it just seemed so vague and, you know, how could I travel in some way, if, you know, and have it count for school? So I did study abroad in India on the recommendation of Heather Espinosa, who's a professor here at the Human Development Department. She really encouraged me to go study abroad. I was working and reading about all these different cultures and things during human development. It was a really different thing that I wanted to see in reality. I wanted to experience people from different cultures in their own environment. And I decided to go to India with a program called the School for International Training, and I really had a good time in India for a semester. I was in Jaipur, India. So it's in Rajasthan in the northwest, right by Pakistani border. It seemed really beyond my capabilities to ever speak a language fluently. But in India, as part of my study abroad, I was taught Hindi, which was really fantastic, and it's just a beautiful language with such a rich history. Learning Hindi was a really great opportunity for me to be able to speak to 1 billion Hindi speakers. This was really my first time traveling outside the country. I had been to Mexico on a short trip, but moving to India was a really different experience. You know, seeing different levels of income really strikingly, and a completely different culture than anything I'd ever experienced. It was a really good opportunity for me to sort of engage with people that I had never been able to engage with before. And I feel like my studies at human development really helped me sort of ground myself in how I'm going to interact with people meaningfully. I could talk to people that were younger or older, and it really helped going forward and studying there. It really sort of opened my eyes to what things were like in other parts of the world. Seeing people in India and engaging with them and learning from them really sort of opened my eyes to what the rest of the world is like, and it made me want to go back to other developing countries, to other parts of the world with different cultures, and to see how people do things in different places. So I was in Dr. Pamela Roberts' class. It was a seminar and practicum class where we had to take an internship. So I worked with Human Rights Watch on their Red Hand campaign mostly, which was their campaign to end child soldiers. So I actually had the chance to work with some former child soldiers from Colombia and Democratic Republic of Congo, and we got to present at the United Nations to Ban Ki-moon and to talk about ending the worst forms of child labor, including child soldiers. Human Rights Watch was a really great opportunity for me, and I think for my educational career. It sort of launched me into this whole world of human rights and advocacy. It sort of put teeth into things, you know. I could really sort of start to grasp concepts and how to not just be a passive observer, but how to work within these systems and how to work for social change and things like that. And I feel like it was a really great part of my education. I definitely wouldn't have done it if it wasn't required, you know, to go out and do an internship, and it would have completely changed, you know, so many things in my life right now, in my career. A lot of the things that we talked about in class discussions and in small groups like that were about what we were working on, and other people were working on more local action, and other people were working on international action. And I think that discussion was really invaluable for everyone involved, you know, to think about things globally and to think about how you can take the lessons that you've learned in Long Beach and how you can apply them to someplace like the Congo, or vice versa. So in 2010, at the beginning of 2010, I moved to Zambia with the US Peace Corps. I was working for the first 2 years in a remote village in the northern province of Zambia. And I was working with schools, I was working with girls empowerment, and I was also teaching science and English. It was a really good opportunity for me. I was living in a really remote area in a sort of traditional mud hut with thatched roof and no electricity, no running water. And then in the Peace Corps, I was taught my tribal language. We spoke Bemba. It's a smaller language than Hindi, but it's also, you know, just a phenomenal one. And it was a really good 2 years. I had a really good time. I still call my friends that still live there every so often. But this last year, I was working with the International Organization for Migration, which is a UN agency, and I was working in their counter-trafficking team. So I was working with them on prevention of human trafficking and protection of victims, and also prosecution of human traffickers. Doing study abroad really sort of opened my eyes to what I was missing. It makes the news so much more interesting to watch. You know, it's like, oh, I've been to that place, I know these people. It's possible to live your whole life in California, but once you get out of your comfort zone and start to see how other people are, you realize it's not so far away to go to some place like the Congo, or to go to some place like Malawi, or a remote village in Zambia. You know, you can get there, you can do it. Finances stood in my way a lot. You know, I was working full-time when I was going to school, and I really wish there were more scholarships available for people to go abroad. It was definitely a good investment. You know, it totally changed the whole way I looked at my education, the way I looked at what I wanted to do in the future. Yeah, it's totally worth it, you know. And I wish they had more. Cal State had more things in developing countries, because it's like, I think a lot of people forget like how much you can learn from people that are, you know, less economically developed. You know, just because their country is less economically developed doesn't mean we can't learn so many things from their culture and so many things from their country. So I'm going to be studying human rights law at the School of Oriental and African Studies in London. It's a really good program. I'm really excited to continue on what I've learned at Cal State Long Beach. It seems like I'm on like this trajectory, but I feel like I'm just like anyone else when like I don't know what I'm going to do when I grow up. I really liked working in the UN system, and so I really like to work back in the UN again. And I feel like people from Long Beach should really branch out and be more international. You know, we have so many international people come here. People in other places could benefit from, you know, people from Cal State Long Beach.